wearing makeup is apparently a barrier to one's connection to Allah. And today we're going to explore why that is. An Albanian Muslim by the name of Dioklina said that wearing makeup became such a priority in her life that she neglected her wudu, her purification before prayer. Her story is strange. She's feeling guilty about makeup, and then one day she went to a mosque and couldn't pray because she forgot to do wudu and decided to ditch the whole thing completely, saying makeup affected her iman, her faith. Now, I don't know about you, but if wearing makeup becomes a problem when connecting to God, it sounds like the issue is deeper. It isn't what you do, it's how you do it. Interestingly, she's also the only one in her family who decided to wear hijab against her parents' wishes. What you're going to see is a young woman who feels shame about being beautiful. She feels shame about looking good or trying to look better. She's been taught that she has to hide her beauty, and she's internalized this to such an extent that she gave up makeup completely. Or maybe it's even deeper than that. She feels that she's unworthy, and she's overcompensating with trying to fit in the mold of what Allah wants. I wonder what's going on in her life that she feels impure like this, that she needs to constantly do more to make Allah happy with her. Today, Huda is going to go through Dioklina's video and give her take on wudu, makeup, and what a connection with God should actually mean. Let's get into it.
Wearing makeup is tabarruj, but women do it anyways. Hey guys, I'm back with another one of my takes on women in Islam, and today I have a video for you that I'm going to go through. As someone on the other side of things now, a former convert, I have to say that even as a Muslim, I would have found this girl's video extremely strange. In Islam, makeup is forbidden to be worn in the presence of anyone other than your husband, so that means no wearing makeup outside of the house. Beautifying yourself in this way is known as tabarruj, which means a woman beautifies herself in such a way where attention is brought to her. If you have a Saturday class at university, for example, and you want to look nice for the weekend, nope, you can't do it according to Islam. However, we see every day that plenty of Muslim women ignore and defy this rule and wear makeup anyways, as they should. Plenty of women are attractive without makeup as well. So what are they supposed to do? Actually, I hear so many men say that women are more beautiful without makeup, meaning the natural look. So I guess the next step is everyone wears a niqab and doesn't show their face at all? If you are new to this crazy world, that's actually an argument for niqab, that any woman who is very beautiful should cover her face. When I was a Muslim, I was one of these women as well, the ones who wore makeup with her hijab. I knew plenty of other practicing women who did the same. I would wear makeup the same way I do now. Mascara, lipstick, sometimes eyeshadow. Skincare was always more important to me. But anyways, let's go through this video together and see why wearing makeup lowered her iman and talk about it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today I'm making one of my most requested video yet. I get it in my comments, I get it in my DMs, people are texting me and wanting to know how I quit makeup. So today I'm going to talk about how wearing makeup actually lowered my iman and what led me to stop wearing it. I want to start by taking us back to when I first started wearing my hijab. As some of you know from my previous videos, I dealt with family acceptance, my family not accepting the hijab. So I felt like I had to do something extra to not feel left out in a way. I thought that if I still made it look a certain way, it would be easier for them to accept me wearing the hijab. This is when my problem started. So anytime I would do anything, I felt like I had to prioritize my makeup, I have to put on my makeup so often, so that I started seeing that having wudu and doing your makeup at the same time doesn't really work together. And it got so bad that I would prioritize my makeup over my wudu. And when you are starting to prioritize your beauty instead of talking to Allah, you know there's something wrong.
I highly doubt anyone is desperately texting her, wanting to know why she no longer wears makeup. Maybe she removed her hijab, but they could care less about makeup. So for anyone else who's new to basic Muslim Arabic lingo, iman is just the Arabic word for faith. That's all. I question her story here. The part where she says she wore makeup to feel like she would be accepted more by her family. I looked at her Instagram to see if she had any makeup photos, but there was nothing. If I had to try to put myself in her shoes, I'd say maybe she wore makeup because the hijab itself makes women look very plain, very conforming. I always felt like wearing the hijab without makeup made me look tired and frumpy, and I'm not about to look like some old babushka, like a Russian grandma, when I'm not even old. Also, I know that a lot of Albanian women are very beautiful and do not wear hijab, so maybe that's what she was referring to here, trying to fit in with the average Albanian woman, her family, etc. So here's where the story starts. She claims that she prioritizes her makeup over wudu. And when you prioritize makeup over wudu, apparently you have a big problem on your hands. As a former convert, I am really struggling to understand what she means by this. I have so many questions. What kind of makeup are you wearing that makes it become a bigger priority than making wudu? Are you doing some crazy contouring on a daily basis? Are you lining your lips every day? I am basically asking if you're applying 20 plus products, because if you are, then I understand why doing makeup is so exhausting. For those that don't know, before Muslims pray, they have to purify themselves by washing their face, rinsing their mouth, nose, head, hands, feet. Now, in order for wudu to be valid, the makeup needs to be water permeable. When doing wudu, water needs to reach the skin and touch it. This is why nail polish is haram. Water will not reach the nail bed when you do wudu. In order for wudu to be valid, water needs to touch absolutely everything. The surface of the nail does not count.
And it doesn't just end there, it actually became worse. The real moment that broke me was when we were on a trip. We had a stop in Albania, and it was my first time being there as a hijabi. A brand new mosque had just opened, which I was very excited for, and I had especially been so excited to pray in it. There was news everywhere that the new mosque in Albania had opened. And I had made dua actually to Allah that the new mosque they were opening there, it would open the day we came, which it actually did. I don't know if it was one day before or the same day that the mosque had opened, but it did in the time that we were there. So Allah had answered my dua. And that day I had focused so much on getting ready, doing my makeup and looking again presentable. This is my first time in this mosque. I wanted to take pictures. So all that was in my mind that I completely forgot to do my wudu. Imagine, this is a place that I had made dua to be able to pray in. And yet when Allah actually opened that opportunity for me, when Allah opened that door for me, I didn't take the chance. Because I was already wearing makeup and I knew I wouldn't have time to do it later because later we were going to the airport. So actually, we just made a stop at the mosque just so I could be able to see it. And yet I still didn't take the chance to pray.
Oh my god, this story gets more and more ridiculous. There's so many other ways to go about solving this makeup versus wudu dilemma. If I was her, you know what I would do? I'd find a way to simplify my routine. I do my skincare in the morning and at night. I've been dermaplaning my own skin for the last decade. When I first became Muslim, I still wore foundation and the whole shebang. I realized very quickly that wearing foundation and doing wudu was very annoying. It's kind of pointless to do wudu and wear makeup at the same time. So I decided to try to simplify my approach to makeup. I eventually got away from wearing foundation and I just switched to what I wear now, which is mascara, lipstick, lip balm, lip tint, and maybe eyeshadow. I just can't seem to wrap my mind around how wearing makeup can completely take over your life. I can understand a drug addiction, but not wearing makeup. She is looking at this in such an extreme way. She's acting like it's not within the realm of possibility to wear a little makeup, but also get ready on time and enjoy your trip. Again, I don't have any pictures of her in makeup, but I am becoming more curious about what she looked like in makeup. I never in my life took so long to apply makeup that I started to lose track of what my priorities were in life.
And then we get to the airport and I see there are prayer places. No wudu, no prayer. We finally get to Dubai, which is a Muslim country, so there are plenty of opportunities to pray. But every time we went out, I actually missed them because of my makeup. And obviously, even if I tried to hold my wudu, we were out all day, drinking a lot of places and eating and stuff like that, so it just didn't get to be my main focus. As you're thinking, it can't be worse. It actually can.
Oh man, she says we're thinking it can't get worse, but now she's saying it actually can. Like, how much worse can this possibly get? How is this story going to get worse? Does she have narcolepsy and we're going to find out she fell asleep in Sephora and got locked in a store overnight? I just can't think of any reason how her life can become even more tragic because of something like makeup. So she's on a vacation, she leaves one country and travels to another, and she stays in this brand new country she just landed in, and she's missing her wudu again because of her makeup. This doesn't sound like an issue of wearing makeup. It sounds like she is forgetful, not mindful of her priorities. When I wore makeup with a hijab, I learned from my Salafi niqabi friend about doing wudu with makeup. I would still do wudu, but I wouldn't be like violently throwing water all over my face and head. I made sure the water touched every part of myself, but I wasn't on this mission to actively ruin the makeup I applied. And I made sure I did all the steps I needed to do. I was just more gentle about it. Before I share the next clip, have you noticed that nobody talks about these types of topics? This channel is really doing something unique. These social issues are discussed with a respectful and intelligent light from the real experiences of us, former believers. And if you'd like to be a part of it, we have a spot for you. Join us on Patreon now and subscribe to keep up with it.
And this is something I'm very, very embarrassed to even be speaking about. This is where I lost an opportunity that I've been wanting to have my entire life. It may be the only chance that I got, and I missed it for beauty. We were going to the mosque in Abu Dhabi, a place that I've had as my phone background, and a place that I've always dreamt to be able to pray in. And again, I lost my wudu earlier in the day, and I just couldn't bring myself to wash my face. My grandmother even asked me, aren't you going to do wudu? Aren't you going to pray? I didn't really answer. And was it worth it for the pictures? No, it was not. I can't even bring myself to post them because I'm so embarrassed that I even chose this over that. Imagine choosing makeup over prayer. And that's when it hit me. I had skipped praying in my dream mosques because I didn't want to mess up my makeup.
I'm sorry, but something is off here. Who starts tearing up because they wear makeup and it affects their relationship with Allah? This entire story is so strange. I'm sorry, but she has no one to blame here but herself. Do you see some of these women in these countries, these Gulf Arab girls and even tourists? They're decked out to the nines, wearing fancy clothes, jewelry, and even, shocker, makeup. They still manage to find a way around this makeup thing and pray in the masjid.
This is how makeup lowered my iman. It distanced me from Allah in a small, subtle way, so I wouldn't notice. Until I realized I wasn't the girl who used to run to Salah anymore. I was the girl who was hiding behind a layer of foundation, missing the one thing that used to give me peace.
Now she's changing her story. It distanced her from Allah in a small and subtle way, she says. Yet she's acting as if she had a full-blown drug addiction here. This entire time, she's talked about how makeup has taken up so much time, energy, and has even taken away from her ability to pray in places many people can't even afford to travel to or will never see in their lifetime. But now it's a small and subtle issue, right? You know, as someone who converted and left, someone who has traveled the world and experienced many different religions and ways of life, praying to God shouldn't be this difficult. God shouldn't care what language you speak, whether or not you have your period, and if you decide to talk to him when you wear makeup. I know wudu is a ritual, a way to be spiritually pure, but I question this. I question all of this song and dance just to prostrate to God to be accepted.
My turning point was when I started doing Islamic videos. I realized that some girls started to look up to me and I felt like I had to do better. I felt like I had to be a good example. I wanted to be a good role model because we don't have a lot of them around here on TikTok, or at least that was not my For You page at the time.
There's plenty of good role models out there, and just because you like to wear makeup doesn't make you someone who isn't worthy of being listened to. Wearing makeup doesn't make your ideas less valid or have any effect on your intelligence. I get so annoyed hearing this. I think there is something much deeper here psychologically. My husband mentioned earlier that she was the only one in her family to wear hijab and become this religious. Why? What would drive a young girl to become so strict in her religion? Did something happen to her to trigger this?
Because makeup for hijabis have been so normalized on TikTok and social media in general that we forget beautifying ourselves is a sin. So I started researching more about beautification, modesty, and sincerity. And I realized makeup wasn't just hiding my skin, it was hiding my submission. I was trying to fix what Allah has created perfectly. I was doubting my natural face when Allah makes no mistakes. So I started making a promise to myself. On days that I couldn't pray, I would allow myself to do my makeup. And guess what? Those days especially, I had no energy to put on makeup. So again, it would go like every single month. I would have these days where I could basically put on makeup. And these are the days I would allow myself, because I realized that as much as I had been missing my prayer, I need to get back on deen. I need to be the girl who was running to prayer, not the girl who was running away.
I mentioned earlier the word tabarruj, which means beautifying oneself in a way that brings attention to the woman. She is right that beautifying oneself is a sin in Islam, but obviously so many Muslim women still do it. You know, I have a problem with this, because tabarruj can mean anything really. Certain women bring attention to themselves without makeup at all. They're just naturally pretty. Other women might bring attention to themselves by having simple winged eyeliner and mascara. Another woman might bring attention to herself wearing lip gloss only. Other girls will bring attention to themselves doing a full face of makeup. In general, all of this is forbidden for women to do, and I have a problem with that. I have issues with women's autonomy being undermined for the sake of appeasing and appealing to men and belief systems. It's kind of pathetic that instead of being a respectful human being to women, men act like animals with rabies seeing a woman being attractive. Instead of putting the burden of managing men's behavior on the woman, perhaps teach men to not be sick in the head. Clearly, there is something wrong with the way these men are being socialized. She says that she was trying to fix what Allah has created perfectly. I mean, as someone who has worn makeup in various ways throughout her life, I can understand wanting to wear less and simplify one's routine. I did that myself, but I still technically wore makeup. I also feel some sort of way of giving Allah credit for allegedly creating us perfectly. Honestly, I don't think humans are always created perfectly. Some people may not be aware of how beautiful their features are, or may have body dysmorphia, low self-esteem, etc. However, I am a huge fan of things like plastic surgery in moderation. I believe that getting plastic surgery or even wearing mascara can do things to improve our confidence and overall appearance. None of these things should ever be a barrier or a way to exclude someone from communicating with God and having a relationship with God, though. So, in case anyone doesn't understand what she's saying at the end here, she's talking about having her period and wearing makeup on those days. In Islam, when you have your period, you can't pray. I feel like the memories are coming back hearing this. So many women will do their nails on the days they get their periods too, but I always found this to be so pointless. If your period is 3 or 4 days, you have to remove the nail polish and then wait until your next menstrual cycle to wear it again. Even when you get older and go through menopause, you no longer have those period days to wear nail polish because you no longer get a period. Now you have to commit to praying the whole month. I feel like women get such a shitty deal in this religion, giving up things that are completely harmless for a flawed belief system that isn't even true.
And so, even those days, I would barely have the energy to even try to do something out of myself. And so, 1 month had gone by, and I don't want to lie and say it's all rainbows and butterflies and everything is just gonna be amazing right away. Obviously not. But as time has passed, I started getting so much more used to it. I would only do my makeup at home to feel feminine sometimes, which is still okay. But I was still not trying to look extra.
Here we go. The truth has slipped out. She likes doing her makeup to feel more feminine. I understand what she means. That's completely valid. That was always appealing to me as a Muslim woman. The emphasis on being feminine, wearing dresses, looking pretty. However, you can only do these things within the limits of Sharia. But anyways, getting back to what I was about to say. What I found interesting was that she wanted to feel more feminine. Wearing a hijab, depending on your face shape and so many other factors, can actually make you look old, tired, worn out, etc. I have heard many women say they felt like they look like a potato wearing hijab. When is the last time you saw a beautiful potato? Yeah, me neither. Wearing makeup and even putting a pretty pin in your hijab or doing something a little extra can help with your self-esteem when this is what you have to wear every day until you die.
And then I said, okay, I'll just try and put my hijab on with it because now it's been months since I've tried to do makeup and my hijab. And so I put my hijab on with makeup and I looked at myself and something felt so off. It just did not feel right. It didn't. So finally I had realized I started to accept that this is the way I look. This is who I am. I just felt like the two didn't belong together. And now, alhamdulillah, I feel so much closer to Allah and I feel more real. I noticed that people around me care much more about who I am and how I feel rather than what I look like. And I've come to understand something. Social media and beauty brands profit of our insecurities. They teach us new insecurities every single day, so we stay buying their products. I'm just saying, they still do this to so many girls out there. They make new trends, new insecurities, new everything, that when you're just yourself, it's not enough. When you use social media so much, you're not gonna feel like enough just being yourself. And this was something I was scared of in the beginning. I thought, oh, but if I look this certain way, I don't know why I thought people would judge me so much just for being me. This is the crazy thing.
She feels more real, as if to say wearing makeup with hijab made her feel less human. I feel like that's something concerning to say. Feeling less human, doing something as harmless as wearing makeup. I think it's okay to make the decision to not wear makeup or wear less. For myself, as someone in my late 30s, I am hardcore about skincare and sunscreen. I love the glass skin look, and to achieve that, you need to focus more on skincare, not on makeup. But no God or a man was influencing that decision. No belief system was telling me I'm a horrible sinner, I am less human for wearing makeup. Anything I do is because I want to, not because Muhammad and Allah said so. As far as beauty brands profiting off of our insecurities, I mean, that is true to some extent. I also think that it's very possible many women buy and wear makeup simply because they like it. I think a lot of the makeup out there has such cute packaging too.
But Allah doesn't ask us to be perfect. Allah asks us to be sincere. He made us with His wisdom. And just remember, your natural face is Allah's beauty standard. When you are showing your natural face, you're showing the beautiful creation of Allah. And that's the only thing that matters. So if you're struggling with makeup and Iman, here's a message for you. Allah sees you without it, and He still calls it beautiful. That's the kind of validation that no product can ever give you. If I realize later on I left something out, I might do a part 2. But this was just to speak about how much makeup can lower your iman without you realizing. Shaitan will do it slowly. Shaitan will whisper to you slowly, and you will think you need to do this, you need to do that. That you being you, the way Allah created you, is not enough. He will do everything for you to go against Allah. And I openly admit how embarrassed I am that this is something I have done. Every single time I remember it, I'm so embarrassed and I regret it so much, and I wish it was something I could take back. Obviously it's not. I can only move forward. I can only ask for forgiveness, and I truly do hope that this inspired at least one of you out there. Just as long as this benefited one person, I feel like it was worth it sharing my story. So if you're a girl out there who stopped wearing makeup, I just want you to know that it's good for us to make these type of videos. It's good for us to talk about it. It's important for us to talk about it because I don't feel like there's enough of those girls out there, and I'm trying to do the best that I can with my content for you to be seen. I want to thank you so much for watching my video. As always, may Allah keep you protected.
Your natural face is Allah's beauty standard. I think this is such an unfair assessment of makeup that she's making, that because she couldn't or wouldn't make her routine more simple or make time for wudu, that this is a warning to all Muslim women about shaitan. Honestly, it sounds more like a personal problem than anything. Let's say I start work at 8 a.m., but I keep going into work late. Whose fault is that? I can't blame it on shaitan, saying he doesn't want me to wake up and do halal work. It's actually my fault. Instead of blaming this on someone else, perhaps I am the one that needs to alter what I'm doing. Maybe I need multiple alarms, more sleep the night before, or simply packing my lunch and getting my clothes ready so I have more time in the morning. If makeup is completely taking over your life, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You know what else is funny? After all that, she has 3 comments on this video. Look at this guy. This girl made an entire video about not wearing makeup, and here comes a man telling her to cover her face. I mentioned this earlier in the video. When you wear makeup, they don't want you to wear it. When you remove it, that is still not enough. Now they want you to cover your face. When you cover your face, they can still see your eyes and hands. When you cover your eyes and hands, then they don't want you leaving the house anymore. The restrictions men want to place on women go on forever and ever until you're just a blob in a burqa, sitting at home, having a ton of kids, cooking, cleaning, and never leaving without your husband escorting you around. Conclusion. Wearing makeup in itself isn't problematic. It's the system of Islam and men making that choice for you without any say about how you feel about it. Limiting women's autonomy and decision-making for their own bodies is one of the primary concerns of people in this religion. Islam is a religion by men and for men, and it shows when the limitations on women outweigh the ones on men by a landslide. At the end of the day, living with such strict limitations on your body is not something from God, it's something from insecure men. Listening to men like this is never a good idea. For the women out there, you're smart and capable of making the decision of how you present yourself to the world, whether you decide to wear makeup or not. You're not a toddler, you're a woman with your own ideas of how you want to express yourself. No man or limiting belief system should control that. If you like this kind of content, give a thumbs up and share far and wide. Perhaps you have a friend or family member that needs to hear this. Perhaps you needed to hear this yourself. I love creating content that focuses on issues pertinent to women, and your support is valuable. If you want to do more, consider joining me on Patreon. I will leave the link to Patreon in the description below. This is Mrs. Friendly Ex-Muslim signing out.